Eric Mintel investigates. On this episode of Eric Mintel Investigates, lead investigator Eric Mintel is joined by Pocono Television's Chris Barrett, Carbondale Mayor Michelle Bannon, Carbondale Alien Festival founder Nicole Curtis, and cameraman Mike Strigl as they delve into the legendary 1974 Carbondale UFO encounter. What really happened that night? Was it a hoax or proof of something not of this world? Stay tuned for this out-of-the-world investigation on this episode of Eric Mintel Investigates, the Carbondale UFO encounter. My name is Eric Mintel. By night, I'm a professional jazz musician. But by even later at night, I investigate the paranormal. I, along with my team at Eric Mintel Investigates, travel the country, investigating all things paranormal. This is Eric Mintel Investigates.
Here we are.
Again, Mike.
I love it.
Unbelievable, man. So, Mike, the Carbondale UFO video, man. Unbelievable.
I can't wait.
This is epic, man. Not only was this an incredible encounter in 1974, we're going to talk to one of the original witnesses that actually saw this thing come down into the local pond.
Amazing.
And we're going on site.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome, man. So we're on it, man. This is awesome.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Let's go.
Let's go. Carbondale, PA, site of the 1974 UFO encounter, right here, Carbondale alien encounter. Today on Eric Mintel Investigates, the Carbondale UFO. It was a beautiful September day in Carbondale when we met with Mayor Michelle Bannon, who told us an incredible story. We're here with Mayor Michelle Bannon right here in Carbondale, PA. Michelle.
How you doing?
It's so great to see you.
We love having you in Carbondale.
Oh man, thank you so much for having us here today. This has been on our radar for a long time. I can't believe that you were there on site the day that this event happened in 1974.
I was a small child, yeah.
Oh my God, but before we do that, how long have you been mayor of Carbondale?
Well, I've been mayor for 1 year and 9 months right now.
Oh my God.
But I was
awesome.
with the city for 30 years prior to that as
my
a city
God.
clerk.
That's awesome. And what a historic town. I mean, the town is incredible. Lots of history here. And, you know, as we were rolling into town today, you can't help but see the aliens all over the place, you know. So obviously this made a huge impact on the area.
It sure
You
did.
know, for years, and we're still talking about it.
Sure.
Can you give us like a little recount of what happened that day?
Sure. So as I got older, when I was younger, I didn't realize the significance. But then as I got older, and especially with our celebrating 50 years last year, I delved into it a little bit thicker. So what happened was that evening, 5 boys saw a big bright light coming through the sky from the Waymart area. They called the cops, and the cops said, "Oh, they're just kids arsing around," you know, and they didn't believe anything that was going on.
Wow.
So they left. That was around 7 o'clock. So they started getting a ton of calls downstairs in the police department saying, "Hey, we saw this big bright light go through the sky. What is it?" So 2 hours later, they realized they're not fooling around, so we better get up there. They got up to the park, and they saw that the pond was glowing. And the boys were up there still. The police started calling people in, and there was somebody that was a temporary chief here at the time. He reached out to all the different entities that he needed to. And that was later on at night. So the pond was still glowing, by the way. So, and it glowed until, they said, for 8 hours after that.
Wow.
During the night. So they disbanded during the night and then came back in the morning. And people are starting to accumulate around the area as well. There's a cemetery off to the side. It's an old refinery location. And then our municipal park is right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, everybody started to flock to the park. And by noontime, there were 10,000 people here.
That is crazy.
And, you know, it's arrogant for us not to believe that there's somebody other than us.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
And I come from the realm of possibility. Anything's possible.
I love working with forward thinkers because you have to do this.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why we're so happy to be here, because who knows, whoever sees this, maybe they were on site
Right.
and they saw the same thing. And we're doing this in a way that's not, so we're not taking ourselves completely seriously like a lot of these shows do. But we're serious when it comes to the investigation, but we're giving people an opportunity to, hey, I might have seen something like that too. Let me tell my story.
Right.
So it's very, very cool.
And I say all the time, we need to embrace our quirky.
Yeah, exactly.
I am so glad that Eric Mintel is here to do an investigation. It adds a lot of credibility to the story that we have. We get more eyes on it, we get more facts out, and we can learn more about what happened in November 1974.
Next, executive in charge of production at Pocono Television, Chris Barrett, joined us. Chris, I mean, I didn't realize that you were in this area.
I was.
Like when that event happened.
Yes.
And you, I mean, so you heard about it over the years.
And I remember it being a huge news story at the time.
Here we are 50 years later, still talking about the same event. And you know who else was on site? The mayor.
Is that right?
But she was only 5.
But she remembers? She remembers?
I think she has bits and pieces that she remembers, but I mean, this made national headlines, and it's still things that people are talking about. So something definitely happened here, and we're gonna go on site to check out the actual site where this thing came down in the water. Mike's gonna throw up the drone. Should be really interesting to see what's over there. Here we are, right here, Area 51. Nicole Curtis. So Nicole, tell us a little bit about the festival.
Last year was 50th anniversary. That was really what inspired all of us. It was 50 years last year, 1974. We had an incident here in Carbondale, and I grew up here and nobody ever really talked about it, and I was always really fascinated with it. And I thought it should be something that we should be celebrating.
And I was here last year. I came for as a spectator. Most of the town was here. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So, and anywhere you come, as you come into town, you see aliens and UFOs all over the place. This is an event that had a profound effect on this community.
Absolutely.
Because it's something that happened. Just the fact that we're still talking about it to this day is wild.
Yeah.
So I recall it because I grew up in Hazleton.
Okay.
So I remember hearing about it.
Yeah.
So why do you think people didn't talk about it?
Yeah, I think that it was just a different time. People were embarrassed by it. I think the government, that's kind of seems to be their MO, where they come in and make you feel like it was a hoax and like to be sort of embarrassed about it so that you're not really wanting to know more or talking more about it.
So we did know about it. It really captivated the region for a period of time. Mm-hmm. And then somewhat, memories fade and it disappears, but the thought always was what happened here. And since we run our own television network, there were people who worked for the other local stations that were there at the time, and they also all had their own theories about what they thought happened. So they always centered upon, well, somebody threw a lantern in there.
Right.
Well, maybe the government was involved. And so there wasn't really any definitive what really happened.
What happened?
Carbondale.
Yeah, right. Well, guess what? We're going on site.
We're going to investigate that, right? To try to find out.
Oh my God! Mike's going to throw up the drone and see what's going on, and maybe we could get some evidence that because the theory was that this thing was hovering and it apparently went into the pond that way. But the other stories are that they saw it go into the pond. So if it was skimming into the pond, there should be debris. There should be trees down or something like that. If this thing, whatever it is, went in there, there's got to be some kind of collateral damage around that. So we're here with Brenda Fager. Brenda, you're a playwright.
I am, yes.
And I understand that you guys do an interactive,
we do.
So
we
tell
do.
us about that.
Right, at Russell Park, where the spaceship landed over the silt pond.
Okay.
I created characters who are not actual realistic pictures of people who were there that night, but more composites of people. I have a diver, we have a UFO expert, but we have created an experience where people can come and talk to eyewitnesses.
Oh, that's so cool.
Who were there that night.
Next, we were heading to the site of this incredible encounter. I couldn't believe it. After hearing the stories for so long, we were actually going to be there, standing on the very ground where it all happened. So here we are, we're going to the site of the alleged UFO crash right here in Carbondale.
You could definitely tell this is all strip mining territory. Yeah, so years ago, the coal company just coal was so close to the surface, they just stripped it
Wow.
from the surface. So you can see like all the silt that's here. It's all carbon based.
Chris, have you ever been back here?
No,
Oh my God.
but it looks like a lot of, you'd see this around Hazelton, a lot of the counties around here.
So you were saying when they strip this and they strip it, then they hit a vein and all of a sudden it fills up with water, and that's what a lot of these are. So they saw it hovering above the water here, and then it came down.
Yeah.
Do you know approximately where in the pond? Like,
So it came over Salem Mountain, which is straight in front of us.
okay.
And it came over and hovered. And in the photos, it looks like the glow was towards that side
Okay.
of the pond. And the glow in those photos from that night are up on that side of the column bank. So, you know, a lantern underwater is not going to emit that much.
So miner's lantern's not going to do that.
Yeah.
No way.
Especially
Now being on site, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
And the light was incandescent. It wasn't like it was an LED.
You're throwing it in, it's going to go out
So
right away.
there was
Right,
something.
not
for
last for
8
as
hours.
long as the lights stay out.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's really, this is such a beautiful area, and it's unfortunate that strip mining occurred here for decades. And some of the area has been reclaimed, which is good. A lot of these water areas were kind of a outcropping of mining at that time. So the story itself is interesting, but they became real important parts of the communities here in northeastern Pennsylvania. These strip mining operations and these waterways. It's interesting that this one had an incident here that we're still talking about today, 50 years later, and what was described. You talk about a miner's lantern being thrown in 25 feet of water, lasting, glowing for more than 8 hours. The technology that time, not sure that could probably have happened. So as we keep digging and digging more, the questions become unanswerable.
I mean, Nicole, this is so awesome to be on site here. Incredible.
Yeah.
You have a different shirt on.
Our festival.
Carbondale Alien Festival, November 8th. I mean, and that's crazy too. November 8th is the festival, and this event happened in November 9th of 1974.
Yeah.
Amazing. How does it make you feel being here on site?
I love being here. I think it's just such a special place.
And there were thousands of people here that descended on this site when this thing
there's
happened.
like 10,000 people in Carbondale.
God.
All the roads were shut down.
Wow.
And I think that's part of the lure too, is they were just like, we have to get these people out of here. What are we going to say to make them all go home?
Well, that's the other thing too. Why there's more validity to this story is like how many people were here. That, to me, is absolutely insane. Like how many people were descended on the site. Because why would so many people come here if it was just a lantern?
Right.
Right? And even though they found the lantern, it was just that was the other idea, that somebody just threw the lantern in to end the story.
Right.
And look, back then, it could have been a cover-up too.
Yep.
They wanted to try to cover it up. So there's a lot more questions than answers, obviously,
Yeah.
but oh my God, being on site is really, really cool.
It is. It's beautiful here.
You could definitely feel an energy here, and it was so cool to think that thousands of people once descended on this very site. We're in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, investigating the 1974 Carbondale UFO encounter.
Oh, Chris, there you are. What's up? How you doing, Chris? Thank you, buddy. I just beamed in.
I love this. This is such a cool thing.
Now, right?
And we're at Elements, right? Which is going to open soon.
Oh my God! In just a couple of weeks, unbelievable. This thing, it runs pretty good. It's pretty smooth. It's pretty smooth up
It
there.
got you here in one piece.
It got here one piece. Next, we talked with Jack Curtis, Nicole's husband, about another witness.
I talked to Matt, a friend of ours that was on the night of the sighting.
Okay.
So he's pumping gas down at a local gas station down here, and he was pumping gas, and this lady that was pumping gas said, "What the hell is that up there?" So they look at it, and it's just hovering over their car. So what he did, he went in and got one of those old big flashlights. You know, you plug in a cigarette lighter. Plugged in the cigarette lighter, and he shined it up on the thing. And he said he saw this creature, ugly as shit, he goes. I don't know what it was.
He saw it inside the craft?
Yeah. This thing shot 3 orbs. one that way towards Russell Park, one towards Forest City, and a blue one back towards the Ellsworth. All right.
So is that what we think went into the pond? One of the orbs?
All the people's stories, their times match up. All right.
Wow.
This guy wants to tell his story. So he went home and his father yelled at him and said, "You're gonna lock you up if you tell anybody. Keep your head. Don't be looking at the sky." So he jumped in the car and went down the Ellsworth. If you ever down the Ellsworth Dam, so you have to park there and you have to walk up. So he said he parked there and he saw the blue one, like down in the field. And there was a stone wall, and he said he saw this creature standing on the wall, like bent over, like he was hurt. And they met.
Wow.
They met. He said it was ugly. He tried to draw it, but he said it was really ugly.
Wow.
He said they met eyes, and they both went opposite directions. So he's been holding that story for 50 years.
The
He came up
creature
our
went one way,
Yeah.
he went the other. Wow.
He's been holding the story for 50 years.
Oh my God.
He came up our house and told us. But all the information we're getting, all the times and everything, they're all matching.
Wow. We got to definitely, man, we got to find more witnesses.
So we had a guy come in our old shop down there. He used to work at Beltel, that was right there. They were on Route 6 and they saw something going overhead. So he had his son in the car. He said, "Let's go check it out." So by the time they got from there up to Russell Park, it was gone. Blocked off already.
Wow. Wow.
National
it was all
Guard,
blocked off. Yeah.
National Guard and everything was there already.
I always say, man, there's always a little bit of truth to the folklore, you know? So
I was there that night in the cemetery and I got kicked out. So,
you said that, yeah, that's wild.
National Guard kicked me out.
So it was National Guard.
National Guard kicked me out, but the Army was there. There was they had everything blocked off.
So Chris, I mean, this is crazy, man. This is a part of the story that I never even heard about.
So the National Guard,
Yeah.
we have a mothership with orbs and a sighting of a real
So the thing
supposed
shot
alien.
orbs out of it? So
Wow.
we need to find the witnesses that actually, we need to talk to his friend.
So that could have been the sources of the light.
Right.
in that-
It wasn't actually a ship.
Right.
Right. So it wasn't actually a ship. It was maybe one of those orbs.
Wow. So we need to look into that. Like, where did that
Definitely.
come from?
We always say, man, there's more questions than answers, and this is a huge, huge question.
Big time.
Wow.
Big time.
Wow. Chris, what have we gotten into?
I think there could be multiple parts to this one because it
Totally.
seems like there's more of a story here
Oh, no
than
doubt.
what meets the eye.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Next, we met with historian for Carbondale, Pennsylvania, Dr. Robert Powell, who gave us his incredible take on the events that happened that night in November of 1974.
You know, we're really, really excited to be here with Dr. Robert Powell. You are the Historical Society here. I mean, you are the curator of some of these incredible items here and the history of this area. We're here obviously doing the UFO, video and doing the investigation.
And that one of the lanterns, which has been associated with, is in a display case right over there onto your left.
Ah, okay.
So I mean,
The lantern in question, or was it a lantern? That's the other question. But you think it was a meteorological event?
I do, yes. The police were very involved in this, and when that object then became the possession of the mayor, and then the mayor, when she was resigning, or at the end of her term, she gave it to me in a very sort of symbolic kind of way, and she didn't say anything about it, but I think she was making the point that I want this saved, don't throw it away, I'm going to give it to Powell.
So wait a minute, is that the actual lantern that they pulled out from that night?
Some people believe it is. It doesn't support it because it's largely plastic, and that would have not survived.
Right, and that's what we were saying too. Why would a lantern glow for hours if it was like a battery operated? I think by hitting the water, if it was even like a gas lantern, it would have gone out.
Yes, it would have, yeah. This, I think, was a cover-up agent, that they needed to have something tangible to hold. Here it is, we got it. And 20 people over the years, whose credibility is very high in my book, have said to me, Robert, I saw it. I was in Mayfield. I was coming out of a restaurant. I looked up, and here was this amazing light going through the sky.
It was amazing.
20 people have told me that, I respect their opinions highly. So that opened the door to me to giving it credibility.
After speaking with Dr. Robert Powell, it was painfully obvious it was not a lantern. Just then, we received a call from Mayor Michelle to get back over to City Hall. Our original witness showed up, but he didn't want his voice to be heard or his name to be shown.
By now, it was probably around 10:30 at night. We'd already been there once, but we went back again and the light was still there. We called the cops a second time and told them, "You've got to come up here. We're not both." A few minutes later, 2 police cars pulled up. 2 officers in one, another in a second. They asked, "Where is this?" The light was out there again, glowing on the far side. As we watched it, it started drifting toward the shore. One of the cops whispered, "Holy sh!" Then the light darted back out, came halfway in again. That's when one of the officers pulled out his revolver and started firing at this object. 4 shots right at the water. The other cop yelled, "Give me that revolver, you're stupid, those bullets will just ricochet." But then he fired two, maybe 3 times. The light came closer to the shore, almost like it was teasing them, then slowly drifting back out into the middle of the pond.
When I left City Hall, I had more questions than answers. What was this mysterious object? Were the officers still around to talk to? As I got in my car and began the 2-hour drive back to Bucks County, one thing was clear. The story about a lantern being thrown into the pond was a complete fabrication.
Back on November 9th of 1974, I was working at the gas station. The lady says, "Look at this bright light coming towards us in the sky." And it was very low to the ground, too bright a light to be a helicopter. I grabbed a spotlight and I plugged it in to the lady's cigarette lighter, turned the light on and looked up, and they said, "Wow, that's not a helicopter. I could see right in it what was flying it. That's not human." This lady started panicking. The craft fired off a white light to our right, then it fired off another bright light straight out in front of us towards the opposite direction. Then it fired off another one up to at an angle to the left. So the lady pulled out. My spotlight was still attached to her car, smashed off the ground, and that was the end of my spotlight. So my dad, kind of upset, who was sitting in the office, says, "Come on, we're closing up shop early." Head down to our house, which is like 2 blocks away, and we go up into the house, and I told my dad, "I forgot the book of receipts in the truck." So I went back down to get the book of receipts and looked up, and there's a cluster of lights, red, green, blue, and I'm like, what is going on here? It's sitting there. It fires the blue light off down to the right, fires the green one off straight across the valley, fires the red one off up at an angle like towards Carbondale, Salem Mountain, that direction. I can tell there's something still there. I can't see any more lights. I grabbed a pair of binoculars. We had military binoculars in the house. So I looked up, and there's another ship. This thing was much, much bigger. It was triangular in shape, and it was slowly moving towards the mountain behind us. The only way you could see anything around here, because everything was all mountains and trees, was maybe I'll go over to the dam, stand up on top of the dam, and see what I can see from there. As I got to the top of the dam, I started walking across, and there's a bright green light glowing from down by the water. It looked like it was actually sitting above the water, hovering above the water. I started heading across the dam to get a better look. This creature come out of the woods. It was kind of hunched down, but I froze in my tracks, and I looked, and I'm like, okay, I have to get out of here. As I turned to head back, I could see a glow down the valley further. I headed down to the Crowley Mining Works wash pond, it's called. It's a wash pond they rinse the coal off when they're processing it. So I had to head down the path in the woods there because you can't drive. I get down to it's a huge pond. I get down to there, and the blue light is floating above the water. I turn around and I headed back home, and I'm thinking to myself, where could the red light have gone? Because I couldn't see that. And I figured, okay, that's enough for the night. I saw enough. And the next day, there's a reporting of a UFO crashing in the pond.
You know, when you get witnesses that are willing to come on camera and talk about these incredible encounters, it's getting more and more bizarre as we go here. But again, having people like Maddie that are willing to tell their story and what they experienced, you can't write this stuff. So I believe that this happened. I think there's a lot more going on here than what people have been told. And I know the story's going to probably live on forever, but there's a lot more people out there that know a lot more that went on that night, November 9th, 1974. So we'll keep looking into it. We met with many witnesses and stood on the very ground where it all happened. Something extraordinary took place on that November night in 1974, something that still can't be explained. But one thing's for sure, we will keep searching for the truth and uncovering the clues. Join us next time on Eric Mintel Investigates.